We'll take a look at our national teams. The Flying Eagles are off to Germany. Preparations for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. We will also reflect on the Nigerian Professional Football League. Yesterday, we brought you some of the results. Today, we'll give you something more comprehensive on sports this morning. We will talk about the National League as well. And of course, you know, sports this morning, we'll try to look at the papers, find out what stories are making the headlines. It will not be any different today. We will be doing that, of course, to see what stories will catch our fancy from the pages of the newspapers. All right? Yemi Adebayo is with me on the program this morning. I almost forgot I was sitting close to me. Yemi, I don't understand why I would almost forget that you are there. Maybe because you've been praying silently. Tonight is a crucial night for the Gunners, you know?
There's really nothing to pray about, actually. I don't really see Wigan pulling a surprise. Some people will say...
You don't have two surprises in 1 week, you mean?
It's not possible. They did it, interestingly, they did it...
They beat you last year?
Last season.
They beat United, they beat
Liverpool. All the big teams.
On route staying, on surviving on the last day.
But this year they have injury worries to cope with. And Arsenal badly need to win. There's no margin for error, so I don't really see them getting a result today.
Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's start by let's start differently this morning. Let's start differently. Let's not start from home. Let's start from abroad. After we finished our show last night, Sports Tonight, we were on our way home when this story broke. It has to be definitely Italian manager of Manchester City. Now we can refer to him as the former manager of Manchester City. Roberto Mancini is being told bye-bye. Maybe he's even waving here. Take a walk. But then, for me, about this time last year, it was being celebrated because it was landing his first EPL trophy for the club in a long, long time. How time flies, how things change.
You won't agree with me, but let me say this. I think it lasted this long in Manchester City because they're not used to success. If you had been in a club like United, Chelsea, it wouldn't have spent 3.5 years. Those guys have
I don't agree with you. There are clubs in the top four who have not won trophies in a long time.
Arsenal is a different issue. But teams like
Chelsea, we know they have a high turnover rate.
Yes.
Chelsea fired the man who won the Champions League 6 months after.
Exactly. Chelsea fired
the man. United have kept the same manager for a long time.
Chelsea fired the man that won the double in his first season and was still second the season that came after. So for me, Mancini, to whom much is given, much is expected. And of course, it didn't. Some people will tell you with the kind of players he has, if it was Alex Ferguson or even maybe Arsene Wenger, the title would have been wrapped up by December. And of course, it didn't justify.
But what was the problem with Mancini? Fell out with Tevez last season. Fell out with Balotelli. Was making remarks about not getting Van Persie in spite of the fact that he had a whole lot of top quality. A lot of top players.
I think my summary will be taken from that FA Cup final. What the commentator said. He said Roberto Martinez beat him soundly on tactics. And so tactically, he just wasn't there.
But then you could also look at the fact that after losing the title, the way they surrendered the title, maybe not expected from a team of this quality. Maybe the owners of Man City felt that with the quality that they have, they should be pushing everybody up to the last day. Even last year that they won.
Even last year that they won.
It wasn't very convincing.
A lot of people would say United just gave it to them because they just cracked when they shouldn't. This is a team that had no business being where they are. And I don't know. I hope they'll be able to sort things out, get a high profile, a charismatic manager, somebody who will be able, and it's good now. Sir Alex is not there anymore. They probably have, if Jose Mourinho comes to Chelsea, there's a level playing field. So I think Man City will move on, but for Roberto Mancini, it's a little blip. He is a champion. We must give him that. All the things he achieved at Inter is not a fluke. But people will say
even at City, is managed to win at least an average of 1 trophy per season.
Well, but they would say you are as good as your last job, and if his last job is anything to go by, it wasn't an inspiring performance in spite of the arrays of. I mean, it was glaring at the beginning of the season. You needed defenders. You didn't do that. You had bust ups with Mario Balotelli. Had issues with. You keep your highest goal scorer on the bench, and you keep playing Sergio Aguero, who didn't give you the same number of goals as Edins. So many issues. You had a lot of English players in that team that had no business. Jack Rodwell, James Milner, Gareth Barry.
No, Milner. Hardworking.
Gareth Barry.
Milner.
Can you explain Gareth Barry?
Well,
can you explain Jack Rodwell? He had to go all the way to bring Javi Garcia. I mean, some of these players earned a whole lot of money and didn't have any impact. Didn't really push. Didn't really give much to the title push. And he is where he is. And I'm sure there's going to be a summer clearance. Any coach that comes to City, a lot of players must go.
Okay, all right. But that's the story of the Italian, Roberto Mancini. 1 year after becoming champion of the English Premier League, he was fired. But not a surprise. Another Italian, Roberto, won the Champions League, and 6 months after, he was also told to take a walk. So maybe there's something about this Italian job and these Robertos from Italy. All right. But let's move on and talk about a star now, Alex Ferguson. Yesterday was a moment to savor for fans of Manchester United because they had the trophy parade. It was fun, it was emotional, and the turnout was amazing. A little blip had to do with Wayne Rooney being booed by the fans when it became obvious that he wanted a move from United. But let's allow you to capture what happened at this trophy parade. And 2013, those two figures, 20 and 13, very significant for Manchester United. Enjoy this. We'll come back for more. Sports this morning. Well, the United fans surely having a ball. What do you expect? 2013, what a year.
Significant number. 20 EPL titles. 13 since the current format started.
The EPL format.
What an irony. Jersey number 20 gave them trophy 20. And 13 titles when this format that we now know as English Premier League started. So those numbers, I mean, very significant. I mean, those guys will treasure this moment for a very long time to come. And that's the benefit of having winners in your team. Sir Alex Ferguson has left, but you have a lot of guys who have been with him for a very long time, who are winners in their own right. Ferdinand, Ryan Giggs, well, Posco says he's retiring. But some other guys who've seen it all, they've been there, they've been through the journey, the ups and downs of the Premier League. And of course, the new manager will have some experience to counter.
All right, that's Sir Alex, and of course, the Man United's trophy parade. Let's see what the new manager, David Moyes, will bring to the party. But let's talk about another club. This one had glory on Saturday by emerging FA Cup winners. But then could they move so quickly from Euros to zeros tonight? We're talking about Wigan. Yemi, from these heights of being champions on Saturday, FA Cup winners, beating Manchester City, these guys could come crashing down to ground zero if they don't get a result against the Gunners tonight in the English Premier League.
And the only result that favors them is victory. And if you judge by what you've seen, Arsenal as well needs this victory. But of course, if you're looking at the manager they have and the determination that Wigan have showed over the years, escaping the drop last 3 seasons, they've been in this kind of situation and they turned it around on the last day. But I don't know if there's any miracle in the bag. Arsenal need this. Their destiny is in their